Hello. In this assignment, I was asking you to make a visualization showing how much refuse was collected in all of the year 2013 across the 5 boroughs of New York City, and to make sure that each borough's amount is visible in the visualization, in addition to the total amount of refuse tonnage collected in the city. And we were going to use this data set I provided. So how do you build that visual? Here's one way. So I connect to my data source, and knowing that it's a CSV, I go to text file, and here's my data source, so I open that. And we're familiar with this already, so we can go to worksheet 1. We've used this data set before. And so now what I'm looking to do is get the refuse tonnage collected across all the boroughs of New York City here, over in the year 2013. So what I'm looking for is the boroughs, and I'm looking for refuse tons collected. And here I go. Here's my potential visualizations I can use. And so we'll go here. And so now I have the sum of total refuse tons collected over this whole time, and I need to filter it by year. And so if I was to go here to month, what I get is the month and year. And so I wanted the year 2013. So if I scroll to 2013, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I've selected every month of 2013, the sum of those. And we know it's the sum of refuse tons collected over those months. And here, what we have is the borough and the refuse tons collected. And I want to actually name the axis title a little nicer, and I'll write refuse tons collected, separated, so it looks more readable. I'll say that is there. Looks like the boroughs are okay. And now, what was the other charge? So the other charge of this assignment was I made the visualization showing how much refuse was collected in all of 2013 across the 5 boroughs, and that each borough's amount is visible. And I also need to see the total amount of refuse tonnage collected in the city. And so what I'm also looking for is some visual here that shows total refuse tonnage in the city. The question becomes, how can I make that kind of visual? And we're going to use a feature that we talked a little bit about earlier in the course, but we didn't do too much with it. And that's located here in Analytics. So if I go to this Analytics tab, and I see I have some choices. And if I was to go to Totals, right? Totals. And I drag Totals in over here off the left panel, you'll see I have this opportunity. I can look at subtotals, column grand totals, row totals, grand totals. And what I'm looking for is column grand totals, because I'm looking at refuse tons collected. And here we see the grand total of refuse tons collected in 2013, because that filter is still active, and then disaggregated by boroughs. And we can also arrange it in this way, if we want to be more visually pleasing, from the borough with the most refuse tons collected. Now, is there a way that we can make this visual look even better? Well, one thing we can do is we can click on Tooltip. And when we double click on the tooltip, you'll see this comes up, Edit Tooltip comes up. And we have the sum refuse tons collected, and what we just want to say here is put that in between here so we know that this title is correct and clean, so it looks very readable. Click OK. And here we now have information that tells us what's the grand total for the year, and then the amounts here. Now the question is, is there a way we could make this even better? Well, it didn't ask for it, but we might be able to just show what percentage, right? What percentage each borough contributed to the grand total. So there's a few ways of doing that. Here's one. So there's an easy way to do it, and it means that to have an uncluttered visualization, we might just have two. And so I can go here and create another sheet and pretty much replicate what I've done here. So with borough being a row, and with refuse tons collected being put as a column like this, and then the filter by month, and then we pick out the year, 2013. Okay. So now once again we have this sorted, and what we're looking for is that percentage of the total. Percentage of the total. And so here, totals as well, because if we want the grand total back, we can do that. And now what we want is the percentage. And so, reproduce that. And I can go back here. And in my menu, if I can go to Analysis, and I look at percentage of, and it says table, column, row, pane, row and pane, column and pane. Well, it's definitely not row and pane. Okay, so let's try pane. There's the pane. Okay, we can try that. And here we go percentage of. What we're looking at is percentage of the columns. There you go. So now we have percentage of total refuse tons collected, and we're going to go back and fix this because we want this to read with spaces. So we're not just using defaults. Go. And we probably want to label this. And we probably also don't need the total, so we can remove grand total. We know what 100% is. Okay. So now if I select these bars and then right click on it, and I go to Mark Label, and I say Always Show, we now have the percentages, and I probably want to bring those out a little bit. So what I might do here is, once again, select, and format. And for the text, I probably to look at So our fonts are okay, our Tableau is good, so the fonts look good. And so now we have this, and what we'll say is in the sheet name. Right. Okay. So that's the percentage of total refuse collected in tons, 2013 in NYC by borough. And we can copy that because back in sheet 1, we can now label sheet 1. It's not percentage, it's total numbers. Total refuse collected in tons, 2013 in NYC by borough. Now, I've made these two visualizations, so how do I make them my own? Well, I didn't mean to make a sheet there, so we can delete this sheet. So one way of actually doing this is you can make this a dashboard. And I can pull sheet 1 into the stage and sheet 2 into the stage. And I can have them side by side, or I can take sheet 2 and just drop it down here. And so now I have a visualization that shows me the total refuse tons. And in fact, in sheet 1, I want to do the same thing here. I want to basically go select each bar. And now I want to show the total, right? The total. No. And I want the grand total highlighted too. And then mark label, always show. Now I have the total refuse tons collected. I have a visualization that shows the percentages. And now I have a visual that shows me both. And if I want to share this, I could share this as a dashboard, but I also want to share this as an image. And I can export the image. And here I'll call it assignment 1.4a, because that's what this is. Saving it to my desktop. And now I can open my file. And we can see that my image shows the information that I asked for. It doesn't have to be the most beautiful thing. It's effective. It's uncluttered. It doesn't have a lot of waste, but this visualization gives me the information I need. And so that's how I made a visualization that met the requirements, and I even went a little extra on this one.